With Kendrick, I delete my tweets right now. That's why I had added you. You could have just DM me. But I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't feel like you were targeting anyone. If anything, more so the bloggers that are running with the narrative that Drake is not hip hop or part of the culture. You have literally people that are not from the culture being so bold and brazen, speaking on someone that clearly is. And that's a big problem for sure. But it all stems from a catalyst at the end of the day. People don't get bold and brazen without someone leading that charge. And the way I interpreted the spaces yesterday, not gonna lie, like, if the shoe fits. But again, I'm definitely all open ears for sure. Shit, I ain't gonna lie, that nigga not finna speak. Then I'm gonna get my shit off. I'm not gonna lie, because y'all got my nigga Lupe fucked up. I think a lot of people were misinterpreting what that nigga was saying. In terms of like Drake being this person who goes on these tours and sells more dates than the supposed spokesperson. People interpreted that as in just because a nigga sells more tour dates and records that he's better than another person. And that was never the case. It's simply stating that if he's able to literally take, if he's able to sell more tour dates and records than the supposed spokesperson of hip hop, the person that represents this whole shit as a rapper, that at the very least, Drake is part of the culture. That's it. This whole shit is just to say that nigga Drake is black. That nigga Drake is part of the culture. Y'all niggas gotta live with that shit. And that's what it is.
Faison.
Oh shit, here we go.
Faison. We wasn't even talking about Drake or Kendrick with that comment. You know that, right?
What were you talking about? I low-key did come late. I'm gonna keep it a bean.
You didn't even there. We weren't talking about Drake or Kendrick when they asked that question.
Well, oh yeah, I understand that y'all weren't talking about Drake or Kendrick. You were speaking in a very general like tone, but I would take it that again.
We weren't talking about
shoe fits.
We weren't talking about Drake or Kendrick during that part.
So were there any parts that you were?
We weren't talking about during the part that you talked about. We weren't talking about Drake or Kendrick. You weren't even there.
Okay. So were you talking about him in the question before?
In the part you were talking about, and even in that whole line of questioning, those questions weren't about Drake or Kendrick. Again, you weren't even there.
I came late to the very initial question. So, you know what? You definitely could be right, and that's why I added you last night. But I'm glad you cleared the air. I delete all them tweets right now.
Faison, the part you were talking about, we weren't even talking about Drake or Kendrick.
Can you clarify what you were talking about?
We weren't talking about Drake or Kendrick.
I mean, I was. I'm not gonna lie. Like 4K, I was there.
The part you were talking about, you just said that you weren't there.
No, I'm saying I came in late to the very, very initial question when you started talking about the criterion. I was there from when you started talking about what is the criterion to be able to speak on who is hip hop and who is not hip hop.
Who are we talking about?
And that's what I'm saying. I came late to that point.
We weren't talking about Drake or Kendrick.
And that's why I'm asking.
We weren't talking about Drake or Kendrick. The part you weren't there because you came late.
Determine who the best rapper was in hip hop.
We weren't talking about that.
I don't really care what y'all are talking about. I'm asking a question from what the conversation was earlier.
That wasn't a part of the conversation.
It literally was a part of the conversation.
No, it wasn't.
It was clipped up like 10 minutes ago, and it's all my timeline.
No, it wasn't. That wasn't a part of the conversation.
I'm literally listening to the spaces right now.
Okay. What's your name? Bum Rush Joe?
My name is Joe.
Okay. So Joe, the woman that's sitting right next to you.
My wife?
No, on the spaces.
Not in reality, but on the internet.
Digital on interface. So the woman who's speaking right now is the woman, the only person who asked questions yesterday on the spaces.
I'm telling you about a clip literally on my Twitter timeline right now.
Okay, first of all, good morning, Lupe. How are you?
Good morning, Elle. I'm taking a shit.
I know okay. I thought you was about to say you're taking shit from the internet, but okay. I think I want to apologize because I feel like the goal of your room yesterday was to clear up. No?
What are we talking?
He said that we was talking about whoever sells more records is the
No,
best.
that's not what we were talking about. We were talking about
I also never said that's not what y'all were talking about. I came in and asked that question because I wanted to know from the spaces before.
But your question was, when did sales determine who was the best rapper? That's a loaded question. Who said sales determine who's the best rapper?
All right, let me rephrase that.
No, first can you answer my question? Who said sales determines who's the best rapper? Who said that?
All right, let me rephrase that because maybe I'm quoting you incorrectly.
Before you rephrase it, can you say no one? Okay, but before you rephrase it, can you say no one said that?
Okay, no one said that anyway.
Okay. Cool.
So when did becoming the guy that sells the most, does the most tour dates or whatever that, when did that make you the best rapper?
Who said that it did?
Or when did that make you the representative of rap?
Who said that it does?
That was what he said.
No, it's not what he said.
Okay, so my ears deceived me.
Yes.
Okay, clarify what he said then, since you know.
Okay, I'll clarify that. But first, can I ask you?
Go ahead. Joe, she knows because she's the one who asked the questions yesterday. You weren't there.
So, all right, cool. Anyway, when did becoming the highest selling person make you the rep for hip hop?
Who said that it did?
I can't clip up clips and put them in here for y'all to hear, so.
You don't have to. We were there.
Okay, and the clip on my timeline is you literally saying that.
It's not though.
In the spaces.
It's not though.
Okay. Why can't y'all just answer the question?
Because the question is loaded and is there's no foundation to your question. You misunderstood a clip.
No, I didn't.
Hold on. You misunderstood.
I did not misunderstand this man trying to put Drake above Kendrick because he does more record sales and more tours. I did not misunderstand that at all.
If that's what you got out of the clip, you did misunderstand it.
He said that Kendrick is supposed to be the representative for hip hop, but he does less sales and less tours.
No, he didn't.
That doesn't make sense.
He didn't say that.
Okay. The clip's on my timeline right now.
That's all. Joe, during that conversation, we weren't talking about Kendrick or Drake at all. During that question, we weren't at all.
So who were you talking about then?
You.
Me? How are you talking about me?
Yeah, we talking about you.
That makes zero sense, but let's keep convoluting things. Who were y'all talking about?
We're talking about you.
I'm not a rapper that sells records or goes on tour, so how are you talking about me?
We're talking about gatekeepers and who decides who can be in hip hop and who can be out.
I'm not saying Drake's not hip hop. When did I say that? Show me a place where I said that.
We don't know because we don't know.
So you're just making things up and saying you're talking about me, even though I've never said that.
No. We're talking about you as a generalization for people who.
But I'm not a gatekeeper. You just said you're talking about gatekeepers. I'm not a gatekeeper.
Right. We set a criterion. People who we actually said that there shouldn't be any gatekeepers.
All right, but I'm not gatekeeping. So
we know.
I never said Drake shouldn't be hip hop. So I'm not gatekeeping. So what are you talking about?
I know because you weren't even in the spaces yesterday.
Yeah, and I've never said in my life that Drake wasn't hip hop. So how am I a gatekeeper?
You're not.
Then why'd you just say you're talking about me, but you said gatekeepers are who you're talking about?
For people who try to decide who should be in.
Okay, so now that you're proven wrong that you weren't talking about me, who were you talking about?
We were talking about you.
No.
Like you.
I don't go on tours. I don't gatekeep. I don't sell records. So how are you talking about me in any form or fashion?
We know.
Bro, this like little act you try to put on maybe work on other people, but I wasn't in the spaces. I don't gatekeep. I don't sell records. I'm not on tour.
Then why are you here?
You weren't talking about me.
Then why are you here?
Because I'm a fan of hip hop.
Okay.
Now again, show me where I've gatekeep in hip hop.
Were you in the spaces yesterday?
No, we've talked about that already.
We weren't talking about Kendrick or Drake.
All right, so now that I'm asking you again who you're talking about, you answered by saying me, and then when I proved to not be a gatekeeper, you still ain't answered the question.
We were talking about you and people like you.
All right. Like I said, that might work on everybody else, but you're just talking in circles now.
Okay.
I do think this is an interesting parallel. You kind of talked about how, all press ain't good press, and how people try to run with a narrative. They don't care about who that affects, and how people are kind of not sophisticated enough to really dig into the nuance of what was being said, because they would rather, it's almost like confirmation bias. And that's like exactly what happened. They didn't record the whole space. It was a gray space. We talked about so many different things. And somebody at the end felt like they was going to get something controversial and recorded it and added a narrative to it that was absolutely not what we was talking about at all. And now people are up here speaking with their whole chest with authority, as if they absolutely know what you were talking about, and talking kind of spicy, like they have a right to their confirmation bias. And you're right, it is crazy. So, Joe, do you feel odd at all to not be in the space, to hear a clip that's obviously in the middle, to not hear Kendrick or Drake's name, and to come up here and speak adamantly as if you know it was about that? What do you think about that?
I don't feel odd about that at all, because as a fan of Lupe, a longtime fan of Lupe, I know when he throws stones and tries to hide his hand. And that's terrible. The way that he represents himself now compared to how he's represented himself in music throughout my life is not what I'm a fan of.
Like when? Like when?
Like now.
When?
Like now.
What? Like what?
Like now.
Like what do you mean?
I'm gonna talk in circles just like you. Like now.
How
Like-
so?
Okay.
I asked the question who you were talking about. You said you're talking about gatekeepers. You said me, but I'm
Right.
not a gatekeeper, so that
But
doesn't
he
make any
said
sense.
more stuff after Gatekeeper as well.
No,
Did you
not
hear the
really.
rest of
He
it?
talked in circles, said the same thing pretty much over and over again.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Okay.
He said right and okay 10 million times like he's doing now too.
He's
So-
probably talking in short spurts so that okay. He's probably limiting all the words he says, since he just watched how he spoke in long form with nuance and detail, and y'all clicked up half his answer and ran with a narrative.
All
He's
right,
probably talking.
All right, let's
probably talking in
ask this
short
question.
sentences
Let's
so
ask this
that y'all
question
can catch it.
again. Let's ask this question again.
Hey Joe.
Let's ask this question again real quick.
Joe. Hey Joe.
Who is
Joe? Hey Joe. Were you
who
in
is
the?
the
Were
who
you in?
is the person?
Hey Joe. Were you in the spaces yesterday?
We already went over this. See, talking in circles again.
Were you in the spaces yesterday?
No, I was not.
Okay. We weren't talking about Drake or Kendrick.
All right, so answer this question. Who is the person that sells the most tours and sells the most records that you're referring to?
We weren't talking about that yesterday.
That's not. I'm not. I don't care what you guys were talking about. I'm talking about the clip that I'm responding to.
Right.
So why can't you just answer that question?
Because we weren't talking about that yesterday.
Exactly. See, like I said, throwing stones and hiding hands.
At who? From who?
You got to determine that yourself, buddy. I don't know what it is you're mad at, whoever you're mad at about, but you got to let us know.
Do I sound?
Put it in the music. Put it in the music.
Do I sound mad to you?
No, not right now at all.
Hey Joe, were you in the spaces yesterday?
Nah, man, definitely was not.
Okay, we weren't talking about Drake or Kendrick.
Hey, Wasalu, who is the guy that sells the most records and does the most tour dates? Who is that?
Were you in the spaces yesterday?
I answered that question already. Can you answer my question?
We weren't talking about that yesterday.
I asked you a question already. Can you answer my question?
Hey L,
Hey,
were we talking about that yesterday?
no, not at all.
Was Joe in the spaces yesterday?
He was not in the spaces yesterday. No, he wasn't there.
Okay.
All right, we determined that already. Can you answer my question now?
Did you say you were a Lupe fan?
Big fan. He's in my top 5.
Why you so comfortable misrepresenting somebody that's in your top 5 like this?
Who am I misrepresenting?
You don't know who I'm referring to?
What voice do I have in hip hop? I got 200 Twitter followers. Who am I misrepresenting?
Wait a minute. Are you saying that because you don't have a big voice, then your opinion is not valuable? Because that kind of
No. I'm
sounds
saying
like
nobody. I'm saying nobody's gonna hear what I got to say. I know my opinion's valuable, but who's gonna hear what I got to say?
If you tell a lie and nobody hears it, it's still a lie.
What lie am I telling?
Hey Joe, why is your opinion valuable?
I think my opinion's valuable because I love the culture. I love hip hop, and it's something that's been a big part of my life all my life.
What do you mean big part?
I used to make music. I went to school for recording engineering. It's just been a part of my life. Like,
what school did you go to?
A really fucked up school in Philadelphia.
What's the name of it?
Art Institute of Philadelphia. It was actually a scam school.
Did you learn anything?
I learned a lot.
Did you learn how to scam?
I knew how to scam before I went to that school.
You knew how to scan before you went to school.
Before I went to that school, yes.
Okay. So what did it teach you?
What's that?
What did it teach you?
No, the school, what I learned in my classes as far as, engineering and producing, that's what it taught me. But
What did it teach you?
how to record and run a studio, how to use Pro Tools, how to incorporate everything as far as production and engineering. It taught me a lot.
How long did you go to school?
3 years.
Did you graduate?
No, I stopped going.
Why?
A lot of life things happened.
A lot of life things bigger than hip hop.
Yeah, at the time, yes.
Things more important than hip hop.
Yes, at the time, yes.
And you dropped out of school
Yes, I did.
for things that were more important to you than hip hop.
Well, survival and money was more important, yeah.
Survival and money. You know, I didn't go to school because of hip hop. I dropped out of school because of hip hop.
Yeah, no, everybody got a different story.
No. Did you know
I know your story. I know your story, yeah.
No, you don't.
No, I did.
You know I dropped out of high school to pursue rap?
Yes.
Who told you that?
It was in your music.
No, it wasn't. I've never talked about that in my music.
So you didn't talk about not finishing school to be a musician?
No.
Okay.
Where's the song where I said I dropped out of high school to pursue this rap shit?
I don't know about a song you specifically saying you dropped out of high school, but I do know that you stopped education to make music.
You just heard me say it right now.
No, I've heard that before.
My fans have never heard that I dropped out of high school. And Chill made
I've never heard you say you dropped out of high school. I've heard you say you started pursuing music.
Joe, were you in the spaces yesterday? No.
I'm not. Yo, okay. I know you very well, and I'm not playing this game with you. That's what the funny part is. Like, you asked me all those questions to try to come to this conclusion, and it's pretty funny.
Joe, did you learn anything at your school?
I've answered 5 million questions for you. You still haven't answered one for me.
Do you think that you can teach other people how to produce and record based on in a formal way from what you learned at school?
Not from just what I learned at school, but again, I've answered.
Jojo,
I've answered so many questions for you. You still haven't answered one for me.
Do you think
I've answered so many questions for you? You still can't answer one for me.
Hey, L.
Yes.
Do you think because Joe went to school for his love of hip hop, that's why he went? Mm-hmm. He wanted to be a.
That's not why I went to school.
Oh, that's not why you went to school. Why'd you go to?
It wasn't because of my love for hip hop. I wanted to learn how to record myself because I used to just rap.
Oh, so you don't love hip hop?
Is that what I said?
Well, why did you go to school?
I just said why I went to school.
Okay, cool. I'm talking to L now. Hey, L. Do you think that Joe, because he went to school and got a formal education, for 3 years, he didn't graduate?
I did not get a formal education. I dropped out.
Going to school is a formal education. Go ahead, I'm listening.
No. He went for 3 degree would be, but I dropped out.
No, hey, that's not true.
Joe, relax. Hey, do you think that he could teach someone how to produce and record? Okay. Do you think that he has more insight into the production and recording field than somebody who didn't go to school? Yeah, me too. Do you think that gives him a certain level of authority or criterion to speak on the subject matter?
That was kind of a contradiction.
If
I have more
Joe, were you in the space
than someone that didn't go to school, how can I not teach someone then? That doesn't make any sense.
Joe, were you in the spaces yesterday?
So who is the top selling artist in hip hop?
Right.
Who does the most tour dates? Who is that person?
So hey, L, do you think that he could have more insight into the production and recording field than somebody who didn't go to school?
Yes.
Do you think that gives him a certain level of authority and accreditation and criterion to speak on the subject matter more so than somebody who did not go to school?
Yes, but very limited.
Okay.
The funny part is I didn't even say that gives me
and no one said you said that. No one's okay.
That's why these questions are dumb.
Hey Joe.
You just don't understand them. That doesn't mean they're dumb.
No, they're dumb.
Hey Joe, that's what we were talking about yesterday. We were talking about people like you.
So who is the number one selling artist in rap that tours the most?
Hey Joe, we were talking about people like you.
No, you said you were talking about gatekeepers, so now you're moving the goalpost.
We're talking about you and people like you.
Where have I gatekeeped?
Hey L.
Yes.
Do you think Joe has more insight into the fields of production and recording because he went to a formal school for 3 years versus somebody who didn't?
Yes.
And that he could maybe speak with authority and a little bit more accreditation about the subject matter than somebody who didn't?
Yes, but to a limit.
Okay, cool. Hey Joe, were you in the spaces yesterday?
Who is the top selling artist in rap that tours the most?
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Lupe. Big fan.
Hey, Akinola.
Yeah.
Meet Joe.
Hi, Joe.
What's up?
Hi, Joe. How's everything?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Hey, Akinola. Do you know anything about recording and production?
To a certain degree, yes.
Hey, Joe went to school for it. Hey, Joe, why don't you tell Akinella about the field of recording and production?
I'll pass.
You pass?
Yes, I'll pass. That's not what I came here to talk about.
So you're gonna keep it to yourself?
Nah. If he would like to get my information and learn how to be a producer and recording artist, he can hit me up. That's not what I'm here for in the spaces right now.
Oh, so he has to go through a gate to get through you?
That's not a gate.
Oh, okay.
If he can directly contact me, how's that a gate?
Oh, okay. But he has to go through some steps.
No, it's not steps.
Oh, but the step, so him getting in contact with you is not a step.
Me saying I don't want to have that conversation in the spaces doesn't mean I'm gatekeeping anything. Like, you can try to spin it however you want, but that doesn't make sense.
You want to keep it to yourself? Okay.
You can keep trying this method, but like I said, it's not going to work on me.
Hey, Joe, you know there's a button that anytime you could leave this chat, right?
Why would I want to leave?
Exactly. Why wouldn't you? Why?
No, why would I want to leave? I didn't say would.
It's a rhetorical question.
Why would I want to leave?
I mean, while you're here, you could educate us on the fields of production and recording.
I'm not here to educate anybody.
You went to school for it.
You just said to this person when you asked this question, oh, no, my bad. She said I couldn't teach anybody. So why would I be educating anybody?
But I didn't say that.
Well,
I'm not her.
Seemed like you agreed with it.
Did I?
That's what the word seems means. Seems like you agreed with it.
Also, seem is a perspective. It's your perception.
Yes, my perception. Yep, definitely.
The same way that you weren't in the room, the spaces yesterday.
That doesn't matter. I asked a question based on a clip I heard that you still won't answer.
Because you heard.
You still won't answer.
All right. So, hey, Akinola, what do you want to know about production and recording?
He doesn't care about that conversation.
I mean,
either.
well,
He
okay.
does not care about that
let's put it this
conversation
way.
either.
Let's put it this way. If it's from Joe specifically, anything, honestly.
But Joe doesn't want to teach you. You can ask me because I own the studio and I produce and record.
I guess, what is your process of writing? How does your process work in writing?
When I record?
Yeah, when you record.
When I write? Sometimes I write and record at the same time.
Okay.
And so I have to set up multiple tracks. So maybe 2-3 tracks. And then I'll record on one. And if it's a really good take, I'll keep that one track. And then I'll overdub on the second track and continue with the second line. So if it's a second section, so say it's like one section in one bar, another bar, but I really like the first section, I'll re-record over top of all of it just to get the second section. Then I'll splice the second track in half and then paste those two tracks into one track. So I keep a main like mother track and then like two practice tracks or expression tracks. That's how I write when I record. And it really only need 3. I mean, really 2, but 3 so things don't get like too messy. Anything beyond that gets a little messy. What do you think about that, Joe? Do you think that's a good procedure when you write and record at the same time, especially when you're self-recording?
I didn't hear everything you said, but I agree with that.
Okay, cool. But you agree with it because you got the expertise because you went to school, so you know it's true?
No, I was recording before I went to school, so I was doing that stuff before that.
Okay, cool. But it's true, right?
No, I do agree with making the production and writing the rhymes together is probably the best process.
Okay, cool. Hey, Joe, were you in the spaces yesterday? No.
Hey,
right?
Wasalu, who is the top-selling rap artist who sells the most records and does the most tours?
Hey, L, can you answer that question for him?
I don't know. Who is it? Joe, who you think it is?
Why are y'all asking questions with questions?
I said
Like,
I don't know.
Make sense.
I don't know. Who is it?
Y'all are not experts in the field of hip hop. How do y'all not know?
I teach hip hop at 2.
Exactly. So you're an expert, right?
Yeah.
All right. So how do y'all not know this question?
Because
Who's y'all? Why are you putting us together? I don't teach at
Y'all
MIT.
you and him just put yourselves together. Like, what do you mean?
like we fusion dance,
yeah, like y'all trunks. Like, what are y'all
What is that
doing?
like? It's like Dragon Ball Z. What is he
Hey,
talking about?
Akinola, did that help you?
No, but I think I get what you're trying to. I guess say to Joe specifically.
No, Joe. I'm Akinola. I meant about like the writing process.
Yeah, that's fine. It was perfectly explained.
Okay.
It all made sense.
All right.
But can I speak to Joe specifically? I think Joe, what Lou is honestly trying. I don't want to speak for him per se. That's on him to say. But I think when he's asking you about if you were in the spaces yesterday, and technically you were not in the spaces because you got whatever clip you got from the spaces, it doesn't really qualify you to speak on what happened yesterday, which is why
that's not what I'm speaking on. I'm asking a question based on a comment from the spaces. I don't care. I don't care about the whole conversation at all. Not at all.
Entirety of the
conversation. Asking a question.
Oh, wait.
And so that's it. And he refused to answer my question.
Hey, Joe, ask the question again.
Who was the top selling artist in rap that does the most tour dates? Who is that?
Does anybody know who that is?
No. I don't want anybody else to tell me.
I think it's Kendrick. I think the Mr. Morale. I think the Mr. Morale.
I don't want anybody else to tell me. I want Wasalu Muhammad to tell me. That's
but it's not about what you want. This is not your space.
That's who I want to hear from. I'm not here for the rest of y'all. I don't care about the rest of y'all.
It's Kendrick Lamar. It's Kendrick.
Hold on. So Joe, are you? I'm a very specific, detailed-oriented person. If you haven't known,
that's why I don't want to hear from everybody else.
So can you give me 30 seconds? I'm a very detail-oriented, nuanced person. So when people ask me questions, I respond with questions because I want more detail, so I can give them the optimal response.
No, I feel like you just try to play mental games with people.
Joe.
I think that's what you really do.
Hey, Akinola, is it fair? Is it fair, Milana, kind of how I'm running with this? I'm just presenting how I actually move before I ask him a very specific question and answer his question. Akinola, do you think that's fair? Because I don't know Joe. Joe doesn't know me. I've never met him.
No, it's not fair. I do think the conversation also is going a bit left because I get what you're saying, and I get what Joe is saying as well. But Joe, I don't understand the point. I mean, what's the conclusion to him answering if someone else, if he doesn't want to answer and someone else answers?
Hold that. Let me referee a little bit. Hey, Joe, when you ask me that question, is there a particular period of time that you're referring to? Like you're talking about 2022, 2020?
No, we're talking about present day.
We're talking about overall. When you say
present day, right now, currently, what's going on right now?
On tour. So let me be specific, and I'm not being cynical. We're talking about who's
I doubt that, but go ahead.
You talk too much. Are we talking about who's on tour right now, today?
I don't think.
Wait, July, Sunday, whatever this is.
See, this is what I mean. You're trying to be extra, man. Nobody's on tour right now, man. Like, come on now, like.
So what period of time are we talking about?
I'm talking about just present day overall. We already know the answer that there's two people that have the highest selling rap tours of all time. We know the answer to this question. So let's not like sit here and pretend like and talk in circles. Like, let's not do this.
So you mean to tell me you just said, and Akinola, please stop me if I say anything beyond what he just said. You already know the answer. Did he just say that?
No. I said we know the two people who sell the most. I want to know who you specifically were talking about as the number one. That's what I'm asking you. Stop trying to convolute things and change up my line of questioning because that's not what it is.
Did he just say that he already knew the answer?
No, I didn't. I said we know who the top two guys who the high selling rap tours ever are.
That's know. What I said. I don't know. You're Captain Heavy. Okay, so Akinola, I don't know you from the can of paint. Did this man just say we already know who it is?
Joe, bro, like my guy, Yeah, he's right.
I literally said we know who the top two tours sold already in rap are.
When you're
I want
saying
to know
we
who
know,
he's talking about when he said, "How is this person not the representative of hip hop if they sell the most records and have the highest tour?"
That's not what we were talking about in the spaces yesterday. We
No,
weren't
all
talking about anybody in particular.
All right.
We weren't even talking about that.
All right.
And you weren't there. But Akinola.
Ramon, cut it out.
Akinola, did he just say, we already know the answer?
Nope.
Yes. Yeah, he did. When you say we, Joe, you're referring to yourself and whoever else you're referring to.
So Akinola, let me follow this up. Why would a person ask you a question and demand an answer from you for a question that they already know the answer to?
It could be many reasons. One, to maybe bait you into an argument that you probably don't even want to have. But
I don't want to argue with anybody. I didn't even want this conversation to be like this.
But Joe, I think in terms of you knowing who it is already, I don't know. I think you're trying to one up Lupe at this point, which
there is nothing in my life I could ever do to one up that man. That's not what I'm trying to do.
Listen to that baby. That's such a beautiful sound. Hey,
yeah, my son is gorgeous too.
Yes.
Did he just say he already knew the answer to the question?
Yeah, he said we know the answer. All of us knew.
Okay, all right. I'm just making sure. Hey, baby, what's going on? What's your name? Cooing and pooing. Joe.
That's what it is. What's up?
So, are we talking about a particular period of time? Like,
wait, I thought he said present day.
But I mean present day, like what?
I did say that, but he wanted to like be extra and say, "Oh, today, July 21st." Like, nah, man.
That's what present day means.
We know that. Who's on tour right now? Maybe what, like
Missy Elliott? It was great.
Yeah, like it's like
you guys should go see it.
It's like legendary acts are on tour right now, not the people that are currently the top guys. That's not who's on tour today on July 21st.
Then why did you say present day?
Y'all are purposely trying to be daft right now, and it's really dumb. Like, really dumb.
Joe, I get what you're trying to do, honestly.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're trying to just be like, "Oh, you said present day, so you mean July 21st?" Come on, man. Games. That's corny. Like,
no, it's not about the games, right, bro? Honestly, I feel like you have to be clear on what your end goal is in terms of asking that question. And I feel like you don't know what the
end goal is. I want to know someone who I followed for a long time in music. I want to know how they feel. That's all the end goal is.
But you're asking him a question that he said he didn't know.
No, come on now.
See, and you called cap on it.
Y'all just gonna believe everything that's being said, even though you know they're purposely saying July 21st to be dickheads. Like, come on now, like.
Okay, so even if he does know, right? Let's just hypothetically say he does know. What's the end goal to it?
No, I just want his. I'm here because I want to know how he feels. That's the only reason I'm here. Like I said, I'm a fan of his. He's in my top 5. He'll always be in my top 5. Even after this conversation, he'll never leave my top 5. I just want to know how he feels and why he felt like that. That's why I came here asking him that.
Lupe, the space just said you're having connection issues. If the connection issue lasts for more than 30 seconds, it'll blow the space.
Okay.
I just think it's interesting how this came full circle. The conversation kind of started about Double XL kind of promoting some bullshit and how people run with it. And that's exactly what ended up happening. Somebody clipped up one part. People have confirmation bias. They projected their own opinion about what they thought it was about, and they ran with it. So it was almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way. And so when I say we're talking about you, that's what we were talking about. People who lack the sophistication to actually find out what happened, what was said, the details of what was said, instead of just running with it. And then they think that they have some authority to speak about
sophistication. So, like, I'm a caveman because I heard a clip and I wanted to know who he was referring to.
That was a perfect example of a lack of sophistication in what I'm saying.
You don't have any idea what you're talking about.
I think Elle she's correct on it, and I'm gonna be the first to admit, Lou,